Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Going to be giving you my match reaction from the Tottenham Manchester United game. Manchester United have just beaten Tottenham 3-1 at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Very good win for Manchester United. I think that now secures us a second place finish. Now, Edinson Cavani, he had a disallowed goal by VAR. I disagreed with that decision by VAR. I think the goal should have stood by Edinson Cavani. It was a very, very good finish. Paul Pogba played a part in that. VAR ruled the goal out because McTominay's arm hit Heung-min Son in the face. But I can assure it wasn't intentional from McTominay, it was accidental. Solskjaer was absolutely furious that that goal got disallowed. Tottenham obviously took the lead through Heung-min Son. Lindelof was accountable for their goal because Lindelof should have cleared it. It was Lucas Moura that had got the assist. We equalised through Fred. Edinson Cavani played a part in that goal because he was on goal. Hugo Lloris saved it and Fred had got the rebound. I thought Fred enjoyed a very good game today, by the way. Our second goal came from Edinson Cavani. It was absolutely superb. It was a diving header. And it was a lovely cross by Mason Greenwood. And our third goal came in injury time. It was Mason Greenwood and Paul Pogba had got the assist. I thought we looked much better in the second half. Dean Henderson, he was obviously in goal today. He did well. I thought Dean Henderson's distribution was very good. I thought he made some good aerial claims. He made some good saves to deny Harry Kane and Heung-min Son. And Dean Henderson, I think, is now our number one. I said he's now reliable enough to become our number one. He's done very well in the games he's played in this season as Henderson. You know, he's kept a lot of clean sheets. You know, he's made good saves. You know, he's still young. He's got a lot of development in him and he has got that experience behind him because Henderson did endure 2 successful loans with Sheffield United and he's had other loan spells before. And Wan-Bissaka, I thought defensively he was good today. Got forward quite well. But I thought his crossing wasn't that good. Victor Lindelof, I thought he had a good game. He was solid defensively. But like I mentioned not so long ago, he was accountable for Tottenham's goal. But prior to that, had a good game. Harry Maguire, I thought he did quite well. Luke Shaw, I don't think he was great in the first half, but he looked much better in the second half. You know, Luke Shaw got forward well in the second half. Defensively, he was quite good. I thought he got caught out a few times. Luke Shaw's distribution was also very good. Luke Shaw still remains our first choice left back, despite the arrival of Alex Telles. He's had a good career at Manchester United, apart from his injuries. Scott McTominay, I thought he did quite well, McTominay. Got forward quite well, made some good passes, broke up the play well a few times as well. Bruno Fernandes, to be honest with you, I thought he was very, very quiet. He did have a long-range effort in the game that produced a good save from Hugo Lloris. McTominay, he had a chance from long range, produced a save from Hugo Lloris. Mason Greenwood, he obviously came on in the game and made an instant impact. Like I said, got the assist for Cavani's goal and obviously scored the third goal in injury time. Mason Greenwood's been superb since he broke into our first team squad. Greenwood made his senior debut in 2019. He's been a United player since the age of 7. And earlier on this season, he signed a new 4-year contract with the club. Ollie's been defending him a lot this season. Paul Pogba, I've got to give him a lot of credit today. He did very, very well. He set himself free, didn't he? And Paul Pogba was playing in more of an advanced role. And like I said, I like him in more of an advanced role. I'm not too keen on him in a deeper role. Pogba got the assist for Mason Greenwood's third. Pogba played some excellent passes. He made some very, very good runs. And like I've said to we've been getting the best out of Pogba in recent months. Marcus Rashford, he did okay, weren't brilliant. He wasn't 100% fit, like Solskjaer did say prior to the game. And Edison Cavani, like I said earlier on, absolutely superb. And he's made a fantastic impact since he's come in to Manchester United. In a lot of his games, his hold-up play's been good. He's scored good goals. His movement's been good. He creates chances. We want Edison Cavani to stay for next season. Solskjaer said earlier on this season that he's hopeful that Cavani will stay, and he did reveal that we have been in contract negotiations with him. Cavani's current contract expires at the end of the season, but there is an option to trigger his contract for a further year. Footballer Insider recently said that Cavani's willing to take a pay cut to join Boca Juniors. And apparently Boca Juniors are willing to offer him a three-year contract, and he's got a verbal agreement with Boca Juniors. But we got him on a free transfer last summer. He signed a 1-year contract with Man United with an option of a second year. We only brought 2 substitutions on in the game. That was Mason Greenwood and Nemanja Matic. I thought there was some good performers for Tottenham. Human Son, he looked very, very dangerous every time he got the ball. Harry Kane, he was quite good, but I've seen him play better. Sergio Reguilon, he did very, very well at the back for Tottenham. I thought defensively good, got forward well. I thought Eric Dyer also enjoyed a very good game for Tottenham. Defensively good, made some good interceptions, got forward quite well. We didn't really trouble Tottenham's back four in that first half. So it obviously was comfortable for Aurier, Reguilon, Dyer and Rodon. we are still unbeaten away from home in the Premier League for over a year. I think it's the second time Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has beaten Jose Mourinho as Manchester United manager. Today, Jose Mourinho was reuniting with Manchester United because, we had Jose Mourinho for 2.5 years. He won the Europa League, the League Cup and the Community Shield. And he got a second place in his first season. But the main explanation it didn't work out under Mourinho is because he had bad disputes with the board, bad disputes with the top players. And in general, the board weren't backing the signings that he wanted to recommend in. I'm expecting Tottenham to sack Jose Mourinho. I think this result will play a part in Mourinho getting sacked. If Tottenham sack him, it will be the right decision because he's past his sell-by date. Don't get me wrong, Mourinho's got a good pedigree behind him. He's won like 20-odd major honours in his managerial career. He's been Tottenham manager over the year. He's got a contract with Tottenham until 2023. But to be honest with you, I think Tottenham made a mistake by getting rid of Mauricio Pochettino because Pochettino was a good manager for Tottenham. Despite him not winning anything at Tottenham, Pochettino endured 5.5 years at Tottenham. Analysing the vast majority of his tenure, Tottenham were competing in and out of the top four, and he guided Tottenham to their first ever Champions League final back in 2019. I don't think Tottenham are going to finish in the top four now. I think they're like sitting, 6th or 7th in the Premier League. Obviously, we lost 6-1 to Tottenham at Old Trafford on the third day of this season. I think that was the first time we'd lost 6-1 since the 6-1 defeat to Man City back in 2011. Obviously, drew the game at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium last season 1-1. Obviously, beat them at home last season 2-1. Tottenham only had 2 players, I think, missing today. Obviously, Ben Davies, he's injured. And Matt Doherty, he's injured. The only players we've got missing is Martial. Looks like he's going to be out for the rest of the season. Solskjaer confirmed that not so long ago. Phil Jones is obviously injured, but he doesn't get in our 11 anyway. And Eric Bay is out due to COVID. But prior to the game, Jose Mourinho hit back at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. For Solskjaer saying winning trophies is an ego thing. Because Solskjaer did say that last month. To be honest with you, I'm not a big fan of Jose Mourinho because he's too arrogant, isn't he? He has made a few signings since he became Tottenham manager, though, hasn't he? He brought Joe Hart in, he brought Joe Rodon in, he's brought Matt Doherty in, he's brought Holberg in. Holberg was playing today. Also brought Reguilon in, brought Gareth Bale in on loan, brought Bergwijn in, brought Jedson Fernandez in, but Jedson Fernandez is no longer at Tottenham. Brought Lo Celso in. Brought that Vinicius in as well. And I think Mourinho brought Ryan Sessegnon in, but Ryan Sessegnon is out on loan with Hoffenheim. We've had some very good games with Tottenham over the years. Like I said on the preview, The two best games I recall was the 5-2 against Tottenham back in 2009 when we overcame a 2-goal deficit, and the 5-3 game back in 2001 when we overcame a 3-goal deficit. And I can see Harry Kane leaving Tottenham at the end of the season. Harry Kane will ask Tottenham if he can leave if Tottenham fail to qualify for the Champions League. It said earlier on this season that Harry Kane had dealt Tottenham a major blow because Harry Kane refused to commit his future to Tottenham. It said he's delaying his transfer decision until after the Euros. Daniel Levy, the Tottenham chairman, said earlier on this season that Tottenham will not sell Harry Kane to another Premier League club. We'll have to make an offer of at least 120 million to convince Tottenham to offload him. Kane has been at Tottenham around 17 years. He's got a contract with them till 2024. Back in 2018, he signed a 6-year contract. He's sustained a few injuries at Tottenham. Harry Kane's been in Tottenham's senior squad since 2009 and he's won the Golden Boot a couple of times. David Ornstein said earlier on this season that he spoke to people in football and he said Harry Kane wants to leave Tottenham because he's unhappy. He said he's committed whilst he's at Tottenham, but he wants to win the biggest trophies and he's not experiencing this at Tottenham. Our next game is Granada in the Europa League quarter-final second leg. We're into the Europa League semi-finals by the looks of things because we beat Granada in the first leg 2-0. It was a pretty good performance by Man United. Obviously the goals came from Marcus Rashford. It was a good goal by Marcus Rashford, took the ball down well. And it was a lovely touch and it was a great finish and it was a lovely long ball from Victor Lindelof. And the second goal came from Bruno Fernandes from the penalty spot towards the end of the game. The disappointing thing is that Harry Maguire, Luke Shaw and McTominay are suspended for the second leg. From a Granada perspective, they'd have been very disappointed because they put a very poor performance out in that first leg. They showed very little going forward. I think Granada's best player was Kennedy. He had a few long-range shots, but there were straightforward saves for De Gea. Herrera, he hit the post. That was Granada's best chance. The Europa League is definitely a priority for Manchester United because it's our only chance of winning any silverware this season. And Solskjaer knows how imperative it is to get his first trophy on the board as Man United manager. We haven't won a trophy since 2017. And if we fail to win the Europa League this season, that'll be exactly 4 years without a trophy. But if we fail to win the Europa League, we know that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will not be sacked as Manchester United manager. I said Solskjaer does deserve at least another season because progress has been made in certain aspects. Some United fans will think Solskjaer deserves this new 3-year contract. As you all know, he has agreed a new 3-year contract worth 30 million. It's likely to be 2 years with an option of an extra one. Despite the win today against Tottenham, I'm not changing my perception on Solskjaer. I still don't think he's the long-term manager for Manchester United, but I think he's definitely the best manager since Ferguson. This is Ole Solskjaer's second full season at Man United. And, we finished second this season. And if we win the Europa League, I'll turn around and say, yeah, that represents a good season for Man United. And that gives us something to build on going on into next season. But we have got to credit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in quite a lot of aspects. You know, we're more or less into the Europa League semi-final. He got us to the FA Cup quarter-final this season. Got us to the EFL Cup semi-final, lost 2-0 to City. We are now unbeaten in our last 23 Premier League away games. We've enjoyed good periods under Ollie where we have seen consistency, and in some of them good periods he's got the best out of the team. We was 14 games unbeaten before the 3-1 defeat to Leicester in the FA Cup quarter-final. Ollie did well last season in his first full season. You know, went on the 19-game unbeaten run in all competitions last season. Was 14 unbeaten in the Premier League. You know, he got us to 3 semi-finals last season, got us a third place finish and got us qualification for the Champions League. Solskjaer, you know, he's beaten quite a few big name managers as Manchester United manager. You know, he's now beaten Mourinho twice. He's beaten Ancelotti a few times. He's beaten Brendan Rodgers. He's beaten Pep Guardiola a good 4 or 5 times. He's beaten Thomas Tuchel. That's when Thomas Tuchel was PSG manager. He's beaten Julian Nagelsmann. He beat Jurgen Klopp in the FA Cup. So yeah, there is a few. Solskjaer has made good signings as Manchester United manager. He's spent almost £300 million. And so far, he's enjoyed 4 transfer windows as permanent Man United manager. You know, the players he's brought in is Daniel James, Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire. He also brought Bruno Fernandes in and Odi Nagalo went on loan. Nagalo left the club in January. He's also brought Donny van de Beek in, Alex Telles, Edison Cavani, Mad Diallo, Traore and Facundo Palestri. Facundo Palestri went out on loan in January. And Solskjaer's also got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he's come in. And I like the way that Ole has promoted the youth. You know, he's given a lot of young players their chances and he's recommended more young players into the club. Solskjaer's got a lot of trustworthy in his young players. So, they are the positives. You know, Solskjaer has been Manchester United manager over 2 years now. You know, we did appoint him in December 2018. And he's been permanent Man United manager since March 2019. Reflecting how long Ollie's been at the club, he has gained some managerial experience. He's learnt quite a bit on the job. He's tried a few different elements. Solskjaer hasn't got a proven pedigree as a manager. Obviously, before he was with us, he was at Molde. He won a few Norwegian titles at Molde, but they're not a big club. And before he was at Molde, he was at Cardiff, and his record at Cardiff was absolutely disastrous. And don't forget, Ollie managed the Man United reserve team for a couple of years, so he did watch some of this team grow and develop. We know Solskjaer obviously knows the club through thick and thin because he enjoyed 11 years as a player for Man United. And Ollie knew when he'd taken over Manchester United as manager, it was going to be a massive job, despite him knowing the club through thick and thin. And we have enjoyed very bad periods under Ollie, where you can turn around and say, yeah, he was lucky not to be sacked. And I think with Ollie being a club legend, that's what saved him. You know what I mean? I'm expecting Man United to make around 3 or 4 signings in the summer transfer window. I've identified the areas where we need to strengthen up. I think we need a striker, we need a right winger, we need a defensive midfielder, and we also need a centre-half. Now, recent reports did say that we will spend big in the summer transfer window, but Solskjaer wants to keep transfer dealings quiet. Solskjaer needs to get the backing he deserves in the summer transfer window because I feel as though he's not been backed enough yet. Like I mentioned earlier on, he's made good signings, but he hasn't got all the players that he wanted to recommend in at the moment. And in that aspect, the blame stems from the board. But Solskjaer should get good backing in the summer transfer window because obviously Woodward's standing by him. Woodward believes that Solskjaer is the right man to lead the club forward. He released a statement earlier on this season saying that the progress by Solskjaer and the players this season is clear, and in general, Woodward's come out several times to show his support for Ole, even when we was enduring them really, really bad periods. And Solskjaer's already discussed our transfer plans for the summer with John Murtough and Darren Fletcher. John Murtough is our director of football. He's our first ever director of football, and the club made the right decision by getting a director of football in. Because I did mention it's one of the structural changes that we needed. And yeah, Darren Fletcher, he's our technical director, and he knows the club through thick and thin because he endured 2 decades as a player for Man United. Solskjaer did warn earlier on this season that we may not do business as usual due to the pandemic, but he said he's interested in bringing in players that will be a perfect fit for the club. Yeah, but in the summer transfer window, we'll focus on the incomings and the outgoings, won't we? You obviously know the news on Erling Haaland. Now, it recently said that Erling Haaland to Manchester United is off following Mino Raiola's roadshow. The Athletic said not so long ago that we cooled our interest in Erling Haaland after prioritising 2 deals. It said we want a centre-half and a right winger instead of Erling Haaland. But the Athletic said that we're one of the clubs that can afford him. Dortmund are demanding around £150 million. Solskjaer said prior to the Brighton game that he played down talks of Man United chasing Haaland. And he said Haaland do make his own mind up. He said the other week that we declined to meet Erling Haaland's agent Mino Raiola over discussing a possible deal for Haaland. Mino Raiola and Erling Haaland's father Alf-Inge Haaland have already been to England for talks with several Premier League clubs. They've also held talks with Barcelona and Real Madrid. But the reasons I take Haaland at Manchester United is because he knows Solskjaer well. Solskjaer gave him his debut at just the age of 16 at Mulder. Plus he's still young and he's got a lot of development in him, and he would assure us goals. Erling Haaland has a £68 million release clause, but it doesn't become active until next year. But Ollie's been speaking a lot about Haaland. You know, narrative said a few weeks ago he kept calling him to persuade him to join Man United. Jadon Sancho to Man United is possible in the summer transfer window, but we must submit an exceptional offer to sign Sancho from Dortmund. Dortmund have admitted they will sell Sancho for the right price this summer. Earlier on today, I give you the news on Pau Torres from Villarreal. We've been handed a boost in our transfer pursuit of Pau Torres because Villarreal will accept less than Pau Torres' £56 million release clause. I think Villarreal will accept around £43 million. Now, reports from Spain said earlier on this season that Pau Torres is heading to Old Trafford. The Real Madrid president Florentino Perez was infuriated that we entered the race because Real Madrid were emerged as the favourites. The players I can see leaving Man United in the summer transfer window is Cavani. I'd like Cavani to stay for another season despite him, being 34, is it 35 now? I want Martial to go, and I think there's a good chance he will go because Martial's been out of form for the vast majority of this season. Juan Mata, I think there's a good chance he'll go because he doesn't get in R11. Donny van der Beek, I think he needs to go because he doesn't get enough opportunities. There's been talks of a swap deal between Donny van der Beek and Adrian Rabiot. I think Matic needs to go because he's not one of our first choice midfielders. Jones needs to go. Axel Tuanzebe needs to go because he doesn't get in our 11. I think Romero needs to go, and I think De Gea needs to go because I reckon now he's had his years at Manchester United, and I think now Dean Henderson is our number 1. But there's a few United fans that think it would be a mistake to let De Gea go. Now there's rumours saying that we may loan De Gea out. But Dean Henderson's getting a lot of chances now, isn't he? You know, he wasn't in goal for the game against Granada, but prior to the Granada game, he was in goal for 7 games in a row, and obviously he's been in goal today against Tottenham. But it's good that we are seeing consistency under Ole. You know, in the last 8 years, Man United have been playing catch-up. Obviously, we've had different managers with different philosophies. You know, we spent over £1 billion on players, and we've brought a good 37 players in since Ferguson retired. You know, we've overpaid for players and that. You know, mistakes have been made in the last 8 years, and that's why we haven't been as consistent as we'd like to have been. We haven't won the Premier League since 2013. You know, that's 8 years ago now. I do think the board's been one of the biggest problems at the club for a while as well. I've already given you the reasons why. We won't win the league this season. We are too far behind City. City did lose, though, to Leeds yesterday, 2-1. But I think, how many points we're behind now? Is it 11 points behind City now? I think we've got a game in hand as well. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always. And on my next video, I'll be giving you my player ratings. Take care, God bless. See you all again very soon.